Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. It is indeed a brand new day. I started my day off, oh boy. Woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, pain-related insomnia. Now, while I wasn't fully awake, I certainly wasn't sleeping. I was about 70% dozing, 30% awake. I was aware of being awake and wanting to be asleep, but I was in deep enough sleep that the time passed pretty quickly. So about 70% sleep, 30% awake. I'm tired, yay for that, which helps explain I went for a long walk, and the reason I went for a long walk, even though my bone spurs on my heel are killing me, is because I wanted to make a short walk to Walmart. Less than a mile there, especially if I take the dirt paths and stuff to get there. But my heart needs the exercise more than I need to not damage my heel. Because when you walk on bone spurs or you use a muscle or tendon over bone spurs, you're damaging that muscle or tendon. But my Achilles tendon and such on my heel is something I can live without more than I can live without my heart. So I went for a full long walk and stopped off at Walmart on my way here, and I had some food. I picked up some food for later on today. I'd buy and eat things like, I wish they did not have these in the sugary stuff, but I buy yams now because I really, really like them. I buy sweet potato pie as stated, and this has a lot of sodium in it, but oh boy does it taste good. I mean, it's like the amount of sodium in one of these things is 470 milligrams, 20% of all the sodium you should have in a day. But I used to eat just salt. I picked that up from my mother, and then beans, more beans. But on top of that, I also bought a bag of Hostess donuts, and I ate those. And you know what happened to me? I fell into a gluten coma, because that's what happens when I eat gluten products. I know this. I know what's going to happen. I'm not an idiot, and yet I can't stop myself because bread products taste so good. I like wheat. Oh well, such is life though, isn't it? Except that, of course, it does damage to your digestive tract if you're gluten intolerant. And the more intolerant you are, up to the point of having celiac disease and further, the more damage it does to you. But then, what are you going to do? Not eat wheat? Can't do that. So, I finished the walk, did all that, and came back here, ate the donuts, fell into the gluten coma, struggled mightily to wake up, and now here I am at some bloody time or another, because I don't want to turn all the way around to look. It's right around 3 p.m.-ish. Maybe a little before, most likely a little bit after, but right around that time. Thank goodness it's a Saturday, huh? And of course, I am nervous and anxious, waiting for this upcoming Wednesday. Things appear to be moving on track. I can track packages, but unless it gets really close, I don't bother with the whole tracking thing. I'm hearing the people walking by outside, so I generally don't work with the whole tracking thing unless it gets really, really close to the date that it's going to be uh, delivered. But everything is on track, and so that's good. Yay! Just have to make sure, that, of course, that it survived packing, survived transit. But these are places that do this stuff professionally and have been doing it for quite some time, so I imagine it's going to be properly packaged. And if not, if somebody along the way went out of their way to damage it, well, luckily Amazon has a pretty good return policy. So here is a hoping. But past that, I've just been in a gluten coma today, and yesterday I went for my walkies. Tonight I'm going to go for some walkies before the end of the night. It may be a short one, it may be a long walk, I don't know. But of course I have to get out there and do it, because if I don't wanna, that means I should. Now, that formula, if I don't want to, then that's what I need to do, doesn't work for everything. I mean, you go, oh, I don't want to drink that bottle of vodka, that means I should. No, not like that. It's like, boy, do I want to take the short walk. That's why I need to take the long walk. I want to sit down and not go for walkies at all, which means I need to go out for walks. So it's that sort of thing. That sort of thing is where you can use the formula. Thumbs up for that. Past that, not really a whole lot. I've been trying to think creatively, both on just my broader all over setting, creative setting, as well as the solo RPG setting material. Now, I have been meaning to talk about this for ever since I brought up the character of Malik, who is the created Cryptid, whom is known in the area of the Midwest where they were created and have roamed as the Jinky, and they have to devour 3 human beings every single year to maintain the body, because as a created Cryptid, the way they were created, it was a 3-part ritual: bring life, bring purpose, release. The body was created, life was brought, and then the person doing the rituals was gunned down. There will never be purpose. There will never be release. The body is waiting for purpose, and the body will not let Malik stop the body. And that's the thing, because Malik can't even think of anything to try and take himself out of the game. Because try to think of something and not let your meat brain know that you're thinking it. Well, you can't. Your body knows what you're thinking because it's your body thinking it. Same thing with Malik. He cannot do anything that could potentially damage his body because his body is privy to everything that he is thinking. And if he's thinking of doing or wanting to do something that will damage or possibly damage or bring an end to the body is not going to do that. And that really sucks for Malik. And Malik is in a situation, because I have mentioned before that in the Cryptid setting, every other setting is a setting of hope, but there are no happy endings and there are no happy endings in the Cryptid setting. And especially with Malik, I've got him written into a corner where I don't think he's got a way out, because he can't do anything to stop his body. And if he has to eat, if he will not go out to hunt, he gets kicked out of the driver's seat, the body goes out to hunt. If he will not eat, the body kicks him out of the driver's seat and eats. And as an amalgamation of 12 people who were victimized, whose throats were slit and the blood drained out of them to rain upon the sculpture that made up Malik's body, that brought Malik life. An amalgamation of victims forced to victimize to survive and then unable to stop themselves from victimizing and living. They hate themselves. They loathe their existence. They would do anything to stop, but they can't. And the thing is, one of those times, about 20 years before the present, where the story is, well, about 15 at this point, Malik has had to eat someone and is screaming out their anguish in the night. And they happen to be on the property of somebody known as Danny V. Well, he online goes by Danny V, Danny Valentine, of a moderate amount of money, has a trust set up, and is left alone on their plot of land. Every couple of years they check in to let the trust know that they are alive, but the trust takes care of paying for bills and such like that so that Danny doesn't have to be bothered. And out on their property, which is of substantial size, of which he uses only a very small amount as his place to live, he lives mostly online. But when he hears the screaming, instead of being like anyone else and not wanting to check that out, he goes to check it out and discovers Malik screaming with the bones of the victim dropped through the cage of their body and scattered on the ground around them. And instead of being terrified or horrified, they stop to try and help, to do something. But the fact that Danny V could see Malik at all when Malik was not hunting, Danny V was, when you had his third eye opened, which means he can interact with the cryptid world, but in gamified terms, 0 to 50 is you are a normal human, you can't see the cryptid world. 51 and up is you can. He's like a 51, 52. Very, very dimly opened third eye. And those whose third eye are opened are actually, because of a genetic flaw, are failed cryptids. Human body, everything else is cryptid about them. But because of all this, he befriends Malik and actually was trying to help. Had a whole monitor system and typewriter system. So imagine Malik has this gigantic body of about half the size of a cargo container with all of these centipede-like deer legs along the outside of it, with a large human body as the front of this cage, and a gigantic stag head with stag antlers as its head. And using these gigantic hands, they sit in front of the table area so they can go tap, 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 tap on a keyboard, looking at the gigantic ultra-wide monitor that Danny V had all set up for them. They were online searching cryptid forums. And there are cryptids that go online. And there are forums that if you're a cryptid, you can find. And they ask questions like, I have to do this. Is there any way I can stop? And Malik was on the forums trying to find a way to, is there a way I can live without eating people? And others who were concerned, because they do it too, trying to follow all this to discover it. Well, there was a mix-up in communication at some point, because whenever Malik had to eat, Danny V would leave the estate and then come back after a week, and then Malik would have eaten, everything would be okay, it would be good. Some form of communication went wrong because the person that Malik ended up hunting was Danny V. And when he discovered this and was like, no, well, that's when kicked out of his own body's control, at which point the body grabbed Danny and then into the cage. A time when Malik really, really, really wanted to do something to stop the process, or to stop themselves, some way to stop what was going to happen. But anything you think of, the body is going to stop. And so Malik had to listen, as Danny, after telling Malik, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And then having to listen as Danny's fluids were drained out of him, drank by the tendrils from the inside of the cage, and when the dying animal whimpering noises faded out, then it was just the digestive enzymes and the clatter of bones through the bottom of the cage. And Danny V was gone, and Malik was alone. Hey, if you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be awesome. Very, very cool. Make sure to share only with people that you think would like to watch an old man yammer on about sad things and other incomprehensible, unnamed subjects. That would be very, very cool. Thumbs up and thank you. If you're a patron, hey, you are beautiful and awesome people. You help me out quite a bit, and there's no real way I can pay that back other than just me being who I am. And I appreciate everybody's help and everybody watching, because I started off doing this channel because if I did not, I would not be alive now. It was the only way to get out of my head after my wife died. And through the years, it has helped to keep me alive. I have been doing much better in the last few years, where the utter urgency of the channel is not as strong. But if it hadn't been for this channel and everybody who watched back then and even now, I would not be here. So thumbs up, thank you each and every one of you out there. And hey, if you've left me a comment, it is appreciated to no end. You too are beautiful and awesome people. I read every comment YouTube shows me. I thumbs up and heart every comment that YouTube allows, and I answer as many comments as my nerve compression will let me. So thumbs up, thank you. You two are beautiful and awesome. Fade out of my voice there. So I am going to edit, render, upload. I'm going to try to either play some like Heroes of Kalinor with the stuff that I've got to play Heroes of Kalinor. I've got the dice, I've got the figures, I've got the board parts. All I have to do is remember the game loop. Because I was thinking at one point that you could just move and not have to worry about things, because why would you worry about only being able to move 10 inches at a turn when there's nothing in a corridor? Well, after you do your turn, it's the game turn, and you roll to see if there's an event like wandering monsters. So hey, and anyway, though, that's what I'm going to be doing. If not any of that, playing computer games. That's a good thing, and being anxious while I wait for the arrival of my computer. Thumbs up. Hopefully you can get done what you would like to get done. If not, don't beat yourself up. You deserve to treat yourself with kindness. Thumbs up for that. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will continue talking with my hands because it's one of the ways that I stim, and I can't remember the way that I end that, so yeah. No secret word today, unless you want to write turkey into the comments. If you don't, I fully understand. Thumbs up. You take care, and I'll talk to you all later.